Hello everyone. The observation tool is now available online from the website participants.t-arizonaborderlands.org. Underneath the cactus area where you see participants is where you would log in. The fellow log in, and then of course this would be the mentor and coach login, and I've already logged in, so that's why it's not visible. Once you log in as a coach or a mentor, and I'm showing this to you from both sides so you can see, you would log in and see this for now. This is your dashboard. Feel free to give out ideas, suggestions, and comments for how you'd like to see this dashboard displayed differently. We're working on graphics and everything else for it later on, but if there's a way you want to have information visible to you, different headings, titles, feel free to let me know. So the observation for the fellows is right here on your left hand side under the survey section. I have a person there, a fellow called Penny Test Dummy, as an example. I'm showing you what it actually looks like completed so that you could see the end result and where we're headed. After the event is entered into the system, you have the information for the coach. I happen to be the mentor, and this happens to be the fellow. And yes, there's a section here for the fellow. Laura would like the fellows to self-reflect on their observation before they have the three-way meeting or a two-way meeting. And this is flexible, that it could be three-way or two-way here. Once you click on the little icon with the people for the collaboration, you'll see that for each category, you will have the coach, the mentor, and the fellow's feedback here. And it just happens to read test. We didn't put in a whole lot of feedback, but your comments would be there. The scoring that you've selected for approaching missing non-applicable options are going to be visible. And then under each section is the comments that were discussed, agreed upon by all of you during that observation reflection type opportunity where you've collaborated and discussed the feedback. When you're done with that section, you'd update your notes and then you go on to the next section. So this is the end result of where we're heading so that all of the information is visible to everybody. So that said, let me go in and explain to you. I'm going to go back to the dashboard to show you what it looks like for setting up. Anybody could set this up. It could be the coach, it could be the mentor, it could be the fellow. But I'm showing you from the coach and mentor version at this point. I will show you the fellow in a minute. So first you'd add observation background. Once the observation background is added, this happens to be my only fellow. If I had more fellows, I'd have to select the fellow name. If I have one coming up on the 17th, I would enter, let's just say I happen to be doing it at 9 a.m., which is already set. And if it were 9:30, I would just add the 30 and I'd set it. Then I'd set the end time. Maybe I'm going to end at 10:30. And I pick the school where I'm going to be doing the observation. For right now, I don't know, if your fellow is assigned to a school, it might just pop up for that school and whatever grade, and if it happens to be a particular subject. Was the observation announced? Most of yours are, so you would fill it in that way. But if it happens not to be, you were just in the neighborhood, so you thought you'd stop by, you can select it like that. So now you'll see another row added. It shows you that I've already entered, this is when the observation will occur. I can click the paper with the pencil, that's to edit if I so choose. And then it'll show you that it's pending information. Now I'm logged in as the mentor, so I can come in here and click the plus sign. And this is where I would be entering for each of those categories the information. And you could scroll up or down if you happen to be observing this particular activity, and right away you can enter your comments here, then go on, oh, this, I just observed this and it's wonderful, boom, I go on. These are the verbiage that we chose instead of a number scoring during one of our meetings. Laura has agreed to that, and Laura, if anybody has any questions or concerns about selecting something along that lines, please speak with Laura about that. She will definitely be willing to explain any detail that you need as to why we have just the scoring. By no means is it an evaluative form, and you are not grading the individual fellow. What you are scoring here is whether or not this particular activity has been met related to that observation. Did you see this particular activity as approaching or as very effective, or it might not have been in there at all, or it was certainly not applicable? And if it's not applicable, obviously you don't need any type of mention for comments. But if it was approaching or missing, you'd obviously want to say, you know, I expected to see this particular activity, and maybe even give ideas of how it could have been implemented in this particular lesson that you observed. And if it's effective, please sing their praises and say, what a great job for this particular activity. Maybe students reacted well, or students were engaged in a way that you saw them thinking beyond just the basic responses. So there are different ways to add your comments here for each of those categories. And this is all in one screen at this point, so that you see it all and you can scroll up and down as you need to for your comments. When the observation is over, you will save the observation form. Notice now it says mine is completed. I am going to log out as me, and I'm going to log in as Greg Lindsay so that you could see the mentor and view. So Greg Lindsay is now logged in as the coach for that fellow. And Greg Lindsay sees, oh, I have an observation to do on this particular date. Now, hopefully we're there at the exact same time. Greg fills in his scoring, and I'm not going to fill it in, I'm just going to show you. Saves the observation form. And voila, now both the coach and the mentor have completed it. Now I'm going to log in as the fellow. On the fellow side, they'll see here it says observation on this far left. And it'll say, oh, I'm being observed. In this particular case, I have been. And now it's waiting for their fellow reflection. So the fellow's going to do the same thing in terms of what they recall. So hopefully they'll do this, obviously not always immediately following the observation, but maybe during their lunch break or before the end of the day, hopefully before you have your conversations together as that reflection. So they'll go through and they'll do the same thing, and they'll say, oh, I know I didn't do anything about this, or I was approaching, this is what I would have liked to see better, or this was effective, I hit right on the target, and students were active, participating, and they got all the answers right. You know, whatever their feedback is going to be. So then you save the observation. Now, when you go through to the collaborate side of this, all three of you are there or just two of you are there. It does not matter which one clicks on this collaborate button. Right now I happen to be logged in as the fellow, so the fellow can click on the collaborate button and see all of this information. Now the only thing I ask, you can all be clicking on the collaborate about that particular observation event. This is the section where you would agree or disagree. Maybe one of the coaches said that a particular category was at approaching, or maybe they thought it was missing completely because they didn't see something. And as we talked about before, when you have your conversations and you come against either conflict, you kind of either agree to disagree or you come to a happy medium. So maybe you've come to this medium where you now say, oh, I missed it, or yes, I interpreted something as it wasn't real. This is where you would write your comments Or you could say this, we're all pretty much in sync, boom, no big deals here. We gave fellow great advice, fellow has great ideas on what to move forward with, and you can specify those ideas. And then you can move on to the next category here, or you could just click next to move forward as well. As you go through each one of these categories, in this particular case it's by category, when you get to the very last category of the observation tool, either the mentor or the coach can update the discussion from the collaborative feedback session. However, all of you could see it, but even though the mentor and the coach can update, it's best if only one person at that time does the updating. But I have it set up as mentor or coach because in some cases the mentor and the coach are observing the fellow at the same time, and in some cases you're not. So you have that flexibility either way. Now that said, hopefully we can get you to start using this tool for your observations effective after you've watched this video. So hopefully you watch this video as soon as I send it off to you. If you do have any questions, please call me before your session and let me know. And if you're in the middle of a session and having trouble, don't hesitate to give me a call. But please be sure your observation is on the calendar in advance. The calendar is now being shared with Melissa Page, who is our external evaluator. She is also getting this video, so she knows what you're doing in terms of the observation and how it's being conducted. And she's going to try to put into her schedule a visit at the same time to make sure that you're observing the same sort of things, and then she'll be available for those meetings so that you can all get on the same page with the validity and reliability aspect of your observations, so that we can make sure that we're all seeing, observing, and giving feedback accordingly. Any other questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you.